You are listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense. All back from holidays. I just need to put my bags down and I'd better water the plants and...
Hello, Tiernan, it's me, Linda. I'm finally here.
Can it be? Linda? Come here and give me a hug, Linda. It's been forever. You know, actually forever, because I've never seen you before in my life.
Okay, here's a big hug.
Ow! That hurt! Why are you so spiky?
Hee, I'm not Linda. I'm a cactus in disguise. Oh, Tiernan, watch out for that cactus. It's definitely not my wife.
Bob? Is that you? You look a lot like a tortoise in disguise to me.
Nope, check my hat.
Ah, okay, your hat says Bob, not a tortoise in disguise. I'm very sorry for doubting you, Bob. What's the deal with the Linda cactus, and why are you here? I've only just got back from holiday.
We were house-sitting while you were away.
But no one asked you to.
Oh, didn't they? In which case, we must have got the wrong Comedy Club for Kids HQ. Sorry, Tiernan. Come on, Cactus Linda. Hee, spiky bye!
Wow, that was a lot to start the show with, but thanks to Rhino Expert 3000 and their little sister for that intro, which, I'll be honest, wasn't really what I wanted when I got back from holiday. Rhino Expert 3000 said their little sister also wants more Rhino mentions on the show, and sure, I can do that. That's more post-holiday kind of thing to do, isn't it? Big shout out to all the Rhinos, big, small, medium, and minuscule, especially Graham Rhino. It's been a minute. And now, I suppose I should say, welcome to Radio Nonsense, the official Comedy Club for Kids podcast suitable for all ages from 2 and everything in between. I'm Tiernan, and, well, I missed you all while I was on holiday, even though it was a rubbish holiday where I had to sit on a carrot bean for a week after getting shouted at by a canary. But hey, a change is as good as a rest, isn't it? What have you all been up to? I guess you're back to school now, learning about important things that will help you in later life as a grown-up, like how to balance a spoon on your nose, or how to say marmalade in 15 different languages, or how to do lots of maths that you could do much quicker and easier just using a calculator. Judging by the mailbag, you have all been very busy this summer, as it is full to the brim of the things you've been sending in, and I just have to say a quick thanks to Mr. Grimble, the small minotaur from Comedy Club for Myths, who's meant to have been looking after the place while I was away, but it seems all he did was line up stinky hippos, so when I opened the front door, I got a 400 fart salute. He did put all the letters in the mailbag, though, so let me see what we have in here. Oh, this is from a new listener called Player Brooklyn Sunglasses Emoji from the UK, which I think means they're in the UK, but they play games as the entire borough of New York, Brooklyn, which is nice of them, as that means everyone in Brooklyn can kind of get on doing the things they need to, like having pizza, you know, while Player Brooklyn does all the games for them. Anyway, Player Brooklyn Sunglasses Emoji left this very nice review on Apple Podcasts, and a joke as well. I really like it. I think it's pretty star eyes emoji funny. I've only just started watching it and it's already been great. Thumbs up. And since it's so funny, I have a joke for you. Hooray, I'm excited about this. Question: what is the last thing that goes into a fly's mind before I use the bug repellent on it? Answer: the spray. Yes, I love it. Thanks so much, Player Brooklyn. And what an excellent joke, though. I do hope any flies listening aren't too upset. And if you are a fly that is listening, I'd keep away from Player Brooklyn if I was you, and just stick to hanging around dog poo and picnics instead. My only question at Player Brooklyn is, how do you watch this show? It's audio only. Have you got spy cameras? Are you peering through the window? If so, I'm a bit worried, as it means I'll have to stop doing things, like recording this while I'm wearing my sombrero in my pyjamas and picking my nose. Or maybe that's what makes it even more fun to watch. Oh, I'll have to get some better costumes. Then there's been another review from Etienne Thomas in the US, who I again am sure is the official representative of Oranges Are Us. TN, which again don't really know what it stands for, might be tall nose or tidy narwhal. No one really knows. But they say, from Oranges Are Us, we have lemons and lemonade. This is not a cheap shot at Lemons Are Us. Well, Of course not, Tien. I think it's super entrepreneurial of you to have a shop that sells oranges and also sells lemons for those customers who need both. I mean, where else would the bells of St. Clement shop? They won't go to Lemons R Us, or they'd have to sing potatoes that look like lemons, sing the bells of St. Clement's, which is rubbish. That's a rubbish rhyme. Maybe, Tien, you can branch out into other citrus fruits too. How about a single lime? And then I've also been sent this from Abhay, who says, and they put this all in capitals, so I'll try not to shout it. The Podgoblins! Yep, there are now two. Have been delivering amazing podzzzz. Can you read this out? As soon as you look at the message, you spawn 1 million trillion zillion billion million times 94356774486 and 0677668675 stinky hippos. By the way, avocados are really tomatoes. Oh no! I've only just got home. I don't need this many stinky hippos to spawn now. I haven't even unpacked. That is so unhelpful, Abhay. But otherwise, thank you for the important information on podgoblins. Very glad there are two now, as it was far too much work for one horrible little snotty guy. And if avocados are tomatoes, does that mean guacamole is salsa and salsa is guacamole? This is too confusing, but I really hope avocados are us and tomatoes are us have got this covered already. Right, that is all for now, but I do want to thank Sarah300, the 300th Sarah in the world, which is, I mean, that's actually pretty impressive, for signing up to the Linda edition. The Linda edition of this podcast has adverts as often as it has Linda, which is never, really, not even as a cactus. You also get the shows one day earlier too, and if you're toilet pirates, sorry, grown-ups, fancy supporting this podcast and subscribing to it, they can do that on Apple Podcasts, on the easy button right where the show is. They can now do it on Spotify via the Patreon, or they can do it on Acast Plus via complicated links somewhere in the bottom of the podcast blurb. It's a fun challenge. Why not see if you can find it? And if enough people sign up, I might also do some bonus content too. But I don't want anyone who can't afford it to be left out. So for now, it's mainly about supporting making more of these happen. So speaking of which... No, not that type of witch. Where did she come from? Speaking of which, I need more questions from you listeners, especially if you've never sent one in before. So do that by getting your toilet pirates... grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. And, of course, you can send in anything else you like too. Jokes, nonsense, whatever you want. And if you listen to this show on Spotify, you should also be able to ask a question about any of the episodes on there too. Have a try. I don't know if it works yet. No one's done it. Give it a go. Don't forget to check out our live shows at comedyclubforkids.co.uk and our t-shirts and book at comedyclubforkids.store. Should there be a Lemons Are Us t-shirt? Let me know. Right, I've now got too many extra stinky hippos, a random witch, there's now 2 podgoblins, avocados are tomatoes, and thankfully Cactus Linda and Bob Not a Tortoise have gone. That is a lot for only just getting back from holiday, isn't it? All that's left, though, I suppose, is for the most importantest bit. Here for the most importantest bit this week is the brilliant Susan Harrison, aka Susan, who never finds train timetables confusing, aka Susanna Rana Haribo Barry, the parsnip warrior, or as all our Hungarian-speaking listeners know you, Atol Tartok Nemismerik Esenechimin. But of course, Susan, you are most well known for writing the definitive guide on how to travel around the world completely by accident, for your heroic rescue missions to retrieve all balloons that children have let go of and floated away, and most famously for breaking the record for longest ever solo conga line. Susan, it's a delight to have you on the show. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm so great. Thank you. And it's really nice to be recognised, especially for the balloon, for my balloon endeavours, because that is, of all the things I've done, that is the thing I'm proudest of and the thing that was actually most difficult.
I bet it's real heroic work. Like I don't think I've ever seen a kid sadder than when a balloon flies off. I mean, maybe when they drop an ice cream, that might be next on the list. But when a balloon flies off, that is an ultimate moment of sadness, and you're saving that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. You're right. It is, and that ultimate moment of sadness actually sends a small alert. I have like an alert system hooked up to my phone. So
wow.
In fact, one's just gone off, but let me just. Yeah, that's okay. I can deal with that later. There's like a sort of 2-hour window.
Right. So, okay. Can you track where the? Does it depend on how windy the day is? So like. if it's a really windy day, you need to go straight away.
Yeah,
on a calmer
exactly.
day, you've got a bit more time.
Exactly. And today's pretty calm, so I think it's probably just over Manchester at the moment, that's doable in a 2-hour window.
That's good. That's good. And does it make a difference what type of balloon it is as well?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if it's a sort of supermarket own brand, then they do tend to get away a bit quicker. But if it's, you know, if it's like a Clinton's card shop, that they're quite sturdy. So there's a little bit more leeway time-wise there.
That's it.
Yeah.
And do any shapes make a difference? Sometimes they're in the shape of like a heart, or sometimes in the shape of like a favourite character. You know, do Barbie balloons fly off slower, quicker? What is, you know, I wondered if you've got a kind of a list where you know, wow, this is important, I've got to go because it's shaped like Mickey Mouse, or
Totally.
I'm not bothered at all. It's like Shrek. I can wait a few days.
Yeah, and that's actually, you know, good that you mentioned Shrek. Shrek is a lot slower as a balloon, in balloon form. But Barbie is so fast, so direct, and just, you know, full of sort of... It's the feminism that sort of gets the extra miles in, if you know what I mean, with that particular balloon. So I do have to be quick when it's one of them.
That is very hard. I mean, one of the questions I have for you, and I don't want to, obviously, I don't want you to divulge your secrets, because what you do is, I know you do it for the good of the kids and for the good of the world, but also you don't want to give away all your trade secrets, or everyone will be doing it, and then what will you do with your time? But how do you get to the balloons? Because they go up pretty high.
Yeah, they do, but luckily I can bounce. I have extremely bouncy feet, like not my shoes, but the actual soles of my feet. Right. So luckily, I don't know, it's just something I've always been able to do. So I can bounce, well, I'd say like half the shard.
Wow,
do you know what I mean?
That's very high for listeners who don't know how big the shard is. It's very big. That's what I'll say.
It's very big.
If that helps you imagine it, it's not small. If you imagine like a peanut, it's much bigger than that. That's if anyone's struggling to work it out, I think.
Yeah, it's like multiple peanuts, isn't it? It's the height of it is so many peanuts.
So many peanuts, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I get up, so I can bounce halfway up there, and then, you know, usually after half a bounce, I can sort of latch onto something like another building, and then sort of scramble up the rest of the way.
Wow.
And then bounce from the top of that. So yeah.
I mean, this sounds incredible, but surely it's quite annoying when you're not catching a balloon to have bouncy feet.
It is. Yeah, it is actually. That's really nice that you mentioned that. Like, a lot of people don't acknowledge the downside of this skill. But yeah, it's annoying when I'm just trying to sort of get the tube, you know, the sort of London Underground trains. That's I'm sort of cracking my head on the ceiling of the train. That's why I've got a bandage on my head today.
Right, I did wonder. I did wonder. I wasn't sure if it was a really sort of funky new hat. It's very stylish.
I tried to. Yeah, thank you. I tried to make it look like that, but yeah.
No, it's a bandage. That's a shame.
Yeah.
Do you have to wear special shoes when you're not catching balloon? Because you said it's the soles of your feet, so it's not so. So do you have like shoes that reverse it, or like, you know? Yeah. I'm fascinated, but I've never met anyone who bounces from the soles of their feet, and I think it's both a remarkable skill and goodness me, I think I find myself on top of buildings by accident all the time.
Yeah, do you?
No, I think I would.
No,
my
totally.
soles. I am the opposite. I cannot bounce even slightly. I'm very dictated to by gravity. I'm very much stuck to the ground at all times. Yeah,
no, that's fair enough. No, but you're right. I do have the sort of reversal shoes, which are extremely heavy, like basically lead. So that has its own problems or challenge. I like to call them challenges.
Right.
But yeah, like if I have to be somewhere really important, like it was my friend's wedding the other week, so of course I put on the lead shoes because there was no way that I was going to want to be bouncing off the ceiling, you know, while they were exchanging how much they loved each other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Were there balloons at the wedding though? Did that cause a problem?
Yeah, that did cause a problem. Yeah, and of course some of them were helium, which is even more of an extreme situation, because if you lose a helium balloon, that's way more upsetting than losing a normal balloon.
Yes.
So I did have to go at the crucial moment, unfortunately, when they were exchanging their vows. I just had to go because one of the kids, one of the little bridesmaids had let it loose, and what can you do? You just got to
just to
retrieve
clarify for listeners, when you say you had to go, you mean had to get the balloon, not that you had to go to the loo.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That would have been really awkward. Yeah,
that would have been really awkward. Yeah, and then I did take the opportunity to go to the loo on my way back, which was like a bonus wee.
Right, that's good. That's good that you really know how to sort of timetable your day, and I respect that. That's really that is very impressive, and it must be so busy for you right now because obviously we're in summer in the UK, and I'm guessing in winter not so many balloons. Summer, it's like all the balloons. All I see out the window is balloons. I see every day everyone's attached to a balloon. Dogs attached to balloons. Pet tortoises. It's like endless, isn't it?
Yeah, it's totally like. It's really hard to get down the street. It takes ages. There's like you say, police. I saw a policeman the other day attached to a balloon. People working in shops. The balloons are just everywhere. And as you can see, my whole room behind me, because we're talking on Zoom, my whole room is full of balloons that I've retrieved.
Yes. So those are ones you haven't yet given back to the kids.
Exactly. It's quite a busy schedule, but I've got it all mapped out. So tomorrow I'm going to do, I think, about 10 balloon deliveries.
Right, that's nice. That's nice. And that must be lovely when they open the door and they go, "Who are you?" And then you give them a balloon and then it's all right.
Yeah, exactly. They open the door. Ah! Yeah, and then whee.
Yeah. Do you not worry? Now, I've seen that film, the film Up, where people float away in a house because it's got lots of balloons on it. Do you... When you deliver the balloons, you're holding probably quite a lot of them. Do you not worry that you're going to fly off and then someone's going to have to bounce and get you? Has that happened?
Yeah, it has happened. When I was a bit newer to this, when I was just starting out, it happened, and it was, to be honest, it was quite embarrassing because this is meant to be my job, and then suddenly someone else who has bouncing abilities had to come all the way from Scotland, which is a really long way away from where I am. So yeah, it can be a bit embarrassing, but normally what I do now is I wear the the lead shoes to avoid that happening.
This makes sense. Sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But nice to know there are others that can do it. I guess they're around to, I don't know, sort of shout at birds, or I don't know what else you do with that ability.
Yeah, what did you say? They were around...
Shout at birds. I don't know if you. Yeah. I just assume. I don't know if in my head I thought if I could jump, I'd definitely jump up and go at a bird, or just give it a little bit of a shock every now and then, just so they know that the skies aren't safe. And that's not very nice, is it?
Well, just so they know we share the sky sometimes.
That's nice. Yes, that's what I meant. I think that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. There's someone on the Shetland Isles who shouts at birds, who uses it for that sort of reason. And then there's other people who will use it to sort of like wave at clouds, a more sort of, it's a bit more of a relaxing hobby. But yeah, you can use it in all different ways.
It sounds amazing. I've never met anyone who has that ability, so it's so great to have you on the show to be able to talk about it. I don't know if any of our listeners have got that ability, and maybe it will help them to know that they don't just have to keep cracking their head on their own ceiling. They can go out there and do something with this skill.
Yeah, definitely. I hope that people, if anyone else has this skill, I hope that they kind of are encouraged to hear someone talking about it. And also... Just to mention the single conga that you kindly referenced.
Well,
when I did that, I was holding a bunch of balloons, so kind of like celebrating my balloon skills alongside my conga skills, and that was really nice. I had people like cheering me on, holding balloons. It was really nice.
That is lovely, and because I was going to ask you, if your life is all balloon retrieval, but of course there was the single conga line. And how long did you conga for in that single conga line?
That one was 72 days.
Wow,
that was 72 days. Yeah. So I had people like handing me food on the way, like while I was congaing. I had people like cheering. There were portaloos at various different junctures.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So 72 days. You've got to sort of survive that, and you had to do it with every step. You had to like kick the leg every. What step
Yeah.
is it? Fourth step, fifth step? No, I can't work it out. Yeah,
Every fourth step.
Every
That's
fourth,
right.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. And I also had to sing like myself.
Right.
We couldn't have music hooked up every bit of the way. So part of it was singing.
Right.
So if I was saying hello to someone, I'd have to be like hello, I'd have to
That's
fit it in.
very tricky.
It was
yeah,
hard. It was really
that is hard. And because you did 72 days. Sorry, was it 75 days? Did I miss a day off?
Do you know what? I think it was 72, but it's a bit of a blur because it was pretty draining.
Yes, I bet it was. I just wondered what the record was before you. Like, how much did you beat it by?
A significant margin. The record before me was only 24 hours. So.
Oh wow! You really went. You just saw that and you
smashed it.
thought, I'm gonna take this on.
Yeah.
You don't want
yeah.
anyone to ever beat you again.
No,
Yeah.
they're welcome to try. Like if anyone wants to start trying, even like round their kitchen, go for it.
Did you have to train?
yeah.
Did you have to
There was a boot camp. Yeah.
Right. Right.
So I had like an angry sort of army soldier shouting at me.
Right.
Kick your leg out.
Right.
Like higher. Yeah, so that was quite stressful, but I think you have to work hard, don't you, if you want to achieve something like that.
Yeah. I feel like conquering's really fun and it's such a relaxed kind of track that I think being like having an army person shout at you I'd find that quite scary.
Yeah, I know. It was a bit scary. It was. But although they were also sort of showing me the moves, like wiggling their bum and kicking out their legs. So that made it a bit less scary.
Okay, right. That, yes. And it is something very funny. I can imagine someone going, da, 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 da. Like, that's got to be very fun. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
You've achieved just so much. So, I mean, it's again, I'm really impressed that you got time to be here. Obviously, depending on how quickly that balloon flies through the air to Manchester, and I am aware that you're tracking it as we're talking. If you need to go, you have. It is more important. I do understand.
Thank you.
What type of balloon is it? That one, the one that's
that one is just a bog standard, purchased from a corner shop. Sort of blue, but not a bright blue. So that one is going to be quite slow. So we're good.
Yeah. That's fair. And I also I could be a bit harsh in saying I doubt anyone will miss it too much if you let it go.
I think that's true.
Yeah. Well, look, listen. I thank you for having time, even at the expense of someone's not very good balloon. I've got you here because I've had a question sent in that I'm pretty sure you, Susan, are the person that can answer it. But before I ask it to you, as I ask every guest, we've got some admin. I hope you're okay with doing a bit of admin.
Sure.
Is that right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, the first thing is that I'm not sure if you're aware, but this is an audio podcast, so most of our listeners do listen to it with their ears. But as we say every week, if they want to listen to it with somewhere else, their elbows, their bums, we don't mind. However they want to do it, that's up to them. But I did wonder if you had a favourite noise that you could make for us.
Absolutely. So this is the noise of a little girl in a well. So here goes. Hello, little girl, stuck down a well. That's her. She lives in my mouth, and that's my favourite noise that I can make.
That was incredible. Can I? So you've got a small girl trapped in a well in your. So you've also got a well in your mouth. Yeah,
that's a good point. I hadn't really thought of that, but I have. Yeah,
you had to eat the well, and you didn't know there was a small girl trapped in it.
Exactly. And that's just what happens if you eat a well. Who knows who's going to be at the bottom of it?
That's true. Are wells tasty?
No, they're quite chewy and hard, but I just thought, it'd be good for me, it's a bit of fibre. But little did I know what I was unleashing into me.
Yeah. Especially if you've got constant supply of fresh water. You don't have to drink water because you've always got the well there, which is full of water. But obviously when it's full of water, the poor little girl is having a terrible time.
Yeah, although she's quite a good swimmer, so I don't feel too bad. Also, a lot of people have chucked in coins over the years, so I can poo money.
Well, this sounds like a really great
useful,
bonus. And they're lucky coin, isn't it? If you've voted well, it's like a lucky coin.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're pooing lucky money.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it?
It's done really well. Yeah.
There's downsides of it too, but you know, you have to. Yeah.
I was going to ask, do you have to let the little girl like sort of call friends, family? Like, does she have to do that? What do you have to do? Just kind of like just open your mouth for ages and she can shout down the phone, or?
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes she wants to FaceTime them, so then I have to send a little periscope down so she can see. But yeah, usually it is just a phone call, and you're right, it is. And my jaw does get a bit sore, like being open for that long if it's a long chat.
Yeah, of course.
But it has to be done.
Yeah, it's the nice thing to do, I think. Yeah. You know, some people might say that having like sort of eating a well with a small girl is not a very nice thing to do, but you're really looking after her. You know, you're not shutting her off from society. She can call people if she needs to. I'm guessing you let her have a bit of food when you eat some food, and
Oh, totally. I mean, we sort of share. So
yeah,
you know,
nice.
what's mine is hers, because what I eat, she also eats a portion of. So I'd eat a bit more than I would normally.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But that seems to, you know, I had some really nice ice cream last night, and she was really happy with that. She was like, "Thank you very much." And so I was like, "That's okay." So sometimes we have a bit of communication between us as well. So all in all, it's a great system.
It's wonderful. And do you know? I guess you know quite a lot about her. She's obviously a little girl now. Does she have dreams of what she wants to be when she grows up? Does she want to be a woman in a well stuck in your mouth? Or is she hoping at some point to do something else with her life?
At the moment, she's like, you know, I love it. Yeah, I'm really happy here. And I think at the moment she likes the idea of being a woman stuck in a well, but I would like her to sort of fly the nest or fly the mouth when she gets older. And I'm sure she will, because her mum is really keen on her sort of going out there into the world, maybe going to music college, because she's a really good singer and stuff. So
oh wow, really? Right, okay, right. That's good. So she sings a lot.
Yeah, she sings. Yeah, and sometimes she's a really good singer, so sometimes I might sort of open my mouth and she sings, and it seems like it's me singing.
Right.
So that's quite good. Yeah, it's quite good. It's quite a bonus.
Good. Yeah, you've done really well there, actually. You could get some really good like singing jobs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just walk into the audition room and open my mouth, and it sounds, a lot higher than it would, and it also sounds a bit sort of magical and spooky. So sometimes they like that, sometimes they don't. But
sure, yeah. But I mean, it sounds like an excellent bonus to have. And I wondered, does she have to go to school?
Yes, she's homeschooled. So again, that is a case of me opening my mouth so that she can hear her mum very clearly.
Right. So you've got to hang out with her mum quite a lot.
Yeah, I know her mum really well.
Yeah, right, sure.
Yeah, exactly. But
as long as you get on, as long as she's nice.
Yeah, she's all right. Yeah, she's pretty nice. She's pretty chilled about the whole situation. So I think that's quite nice.
Yeah, that is good. That is good. Wow, it's lovely, and it's a fantastic noise. We've definitely never had anyone on the show, have a small girl trapped in a well in their mouth before, and give us the noise of that.
Great.
Which it's definitely something new. If anyone listening has eaten a well and it happens to have someone in it, have you got any advice? Is there anything you can tell them?
Well, I mean, first of all, if anyone does, I'd love to hear it. But yeah, I think just don't panic. Kind of enjoy it. Like, don't feel, and definitely don't try and regurgitate it. Don't try and like, because that doesn't work and it's a bit sore. So just enjoy the well and enjoy whatever small person is in the well.
That's great advice. Thank you, Susan. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The other bit of admin, of course, I do have to ask you is I'm not sure if you're aware, but this is a show that's suitable for people of all ages, any age you can imagine. I don't know if you can imagine an age. Can you?
I'm imagining an age that is so big it's making my head hurt a bit.
Wow.
It's kind of like universe age. Do you know what I mean? Like universe years.
Would you know? Do you know this show is absolutely suitable for anyone who is universe years old? If anyone's been there since the beginning, it's not suitable for people who are 100, but every other age is absolutely fine. So every other age, especially universe age, and so as a result, I just wanted to check if there are any rude words that you won't be saying.
Well, I definitely won't be saying smelly bum face.
Right.
Because I just feel like if I did say smelly bum face, it would be kind of a bit offensive, and you might be offended.
I would be.
Tiernan,
I'd be horribly offended. Yeah. You mean because I'm the owner of a smelly bum face? Because I take it personally.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't be very nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something I just deal with, but it does make me sad when people use it as an insult when there are lots of us out there with smelly bum faces who just have to get on with our lives.
I mean, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about having a smelly bum face and people saying smelly bum face?
It's like, I sort of get it. They have to say what they see, but it shouldn't be an insult. I just, it's very hard. Do I wear a hat on my head or pants? I don't know. There's a lot of issues, but I think, do I sit on my own head? Or, like, it doesn't. It's tricky, and there's questions I have to ask myself every day. But I think it's not fair to have a go at someone because of that. I didn't have a choice about my smelly bum face.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think the pants you're wearing on your head today actually look really good.
Thank you very much. Thank you. They're some of my favourite pair, so that's very kind of you. But you're right. I'm pleased you won't say smelly bum face. I certainly wouldn't dare do it on this show.
I think saying smelly bum face would just be too much,
Too much. I should add the caveat that if you were to say smelly bum faces, and it's more than one, that's actually sort of all right, because it tends to just mean a congregation of people with my condition getting together and talking about it.
Yeah, that's something to celebrate, smelly bum faces.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for not saying smelly bum face. I certainly would never say smelly bum face on this show, and it's nice to know all our listeners who are universe age old are safe. Now, listen, we've had this question sent in, and this question has been sent in by Etienne, who says it's pronounced Etienne. So I don't know if I have to say it like that every time. Etienne, and they are from Brighton, and they are aged 8 farting chickens years old. So I don't know how you are with your age calculations. I think that is 34. Well, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that's right. I was doing the maths in my head just then. I think that's right.
Yeah, 34. 8 farting chickens. It's about 34, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I think so. I could be wrong. Well, anyway, Etienne, hopefully you are 34. And that's, that says that his age that's according to his younger brother, Bastien. We haven't been given, maybe Bastien, I don't know, we haven't been given a pronunciation. So he doesn't actually know his own age. His brothers had to work that out. For interesting, very interesting. Well, Etienne has asked, and this is a big question, Susan. I hope you're okay with it. I know you're busy with all your balloon catching. I hope you're all right answering something of this magnitude, a question this big. But Etienne has said, "Why is a t-shirt called a t-shirt if a t-shirt can't hold tea?"
I think, first of all, Etienne, thank you so much for raising this important question. Not enough people talk about this. And I do know the answer. There's two theories. One theory is that T-shirts are the cheekiest of clothing items. They are actually tee-hee shirts.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's the tee-hee, the T from the tee-hee. They're the cheekiest. So when you go through all the different clothing species, like socks are very sad as a personality type. We've got skirts, which are quite optimistic, and then we've got like really boring beige trousers, and they are heavily depressed. But t-shirts in the community are known as the cheekiest, giggliest tee-hee of all. I don't know if that rings true with your clothing, if you've ever sort of stopped to chat to any of your items of clothing.
It's very interesting. So I'm guessing Y-front's very curious. Those are curious pants. Yeah. You're definitely right about beige trousers. I tend to find jeans are normally quite sort of chilled.
Yeah, quite cool, quite easygoing. Cool. Yeah.
Do
your Y fronts ever say to you, like, why? You know, like, as in, like, what? Why are you doing that? Or like, why are you going there? Is that
I think
a bit
they're
annoying?
constantly going, why do I have to sit on bums? They don't want to. They don't want to sit on people's bums. I think that's why they're always asking, why? Why do this to me? I don't deserve this. I want to visit the world, but not on not while stuck to a bum. You know, I think there's a lot of sadness there that they have to do it.
Yeah, so it's more of a complaining. Why?
Yeah. Because it's interesting you say about t-shirt. I wonder, t-shirts cover the belly. People belly laugh. Is that kind of like? Does that help them kind of get cheeky?
Yeah, exactly. When they're young, t-shirts, they're kind of like tee-hee. But by the time they've got older and sort of stretched a bit, it's more like tee-hee-hee.
Right.
And that's when they're in their sort of belly laugh stage.
Yeah.
It's a bit like when your voice breaks when you're a human. But
yes.
Yeah, and I mean, so that's sort of the kind of obvious answer. But the other answer is a bit more sinister, and it's that t-shirts don't hold tea at the moment, but they want to, and they plan to.
Wow.
So a bit like AI, they are planning and hoping to become like fully sort of conscious beings. If we're not careful, t-shirts might overtake us. And they'll be holding the tea. They'll be making the tea.
Is this why? And I don't know if you sort of looking at you, Susan, you don't seem to have this problem in the same way that I do. I regularly spill things on my t-shirt, and I'm sure I don't mean to, and I'm sure I haven't really done it on purpose.
Yeah.
Is that the t-shirt trying to get like tea spilt on them to say, "Give me more. I'm going to grow and learn."
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. And also it's kind of saying, "Ha, you're making a mistake, human," reminding you that you're not perfect, and that you're like sort of trying to wear you down a bit so that they can rise up.
So we wear them, but they're wearing us.
Yes. Oh my God, that's such a good way of putting it. Yeah. So really, like, when they're hanging, we think, if we hang them up, I mean, you'd only hang up a really special t-shirt, but if we hung up a special t-shirt, we might think, oh yeah, just hanging this up, putting it in the, wardrobe or whatever. But actually, it's waiting. It's sort of like waiting to pounce. So it's the other way round. And when we fold them as well, we think, oh yeah, we're just folding this up. But that's like it crossing its arms, laying in wait. Yeah, they're a very spooky clothing item.
They are spooky. And how does it... Because, again, I sort of said earlier, we're in summer at the moment. A lot of people wear T-shirts in summer.
Yeah.
In winter, they might wear T-shirts, but they cover them with a jumper or a jacket. Or, does that kind of, like, stop them from causing mischief? Or is summer, like, the most dangerous month, is what I'm asking? Or season?
Totally. Yeah, totally. Summer is definitely the most dangerous, because when we're covering them up in autumn and winter, they're really annoyed about that. So they're underneath and they're like, just get me out, under the, I don't want to be under the jumper, like getting more and more annoyed. But in summer, the world is their oyster. They're like, yeah, this is my time to shine. And they it's quite scary. I mean, I see you've got a nice bright yellow t-shirt on at the moment.
I do.
But, I guess you got to ask, what is that t-shirt thinking?
I'm worried about it now. I was actually thinking, it's a nice day for a bright t-shirt. And now I'm thinking, am I just enabling this t-shirt to start its megalomaniac plans? Am I kind of giving it a step into villainy, Yeah, it's worrying.
And you probably are, to be honest. Yeah. But I mean, on the other hand, when they do, because I'm afraid it's not if, it's when they do take over, they might not be bad. They might be even they might be better than humans. Who knows? Sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what sort of things they'd want to bring into the world. I guess they'd want warmer weather, which may not be great all the time.
That's true. Yeah, they would want a lot of sunshine. Yeah, they would definitely want to get rid of jumpers.
Yeah.
And cardigans, I think, and they've already been sowing the seeds for that, just sort of whispering in the night, that jumpers aren't cool anymore.
That's them.
Cardigans are geeky.
I thought that was a dream.
No, that was them.
That's my t-shirt. This is why you
Yeah.
shouldn't wear T-shirts to bed. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Do you think they'd want everything T-shaped? Would teapots be kind of up there in being allowed to kind of do what they want?
Yeah.
TPs as well, I guess.
I think so. I think teapots and teepees would be like the sort of aristocracy of the world. You know, they would be really well respected. Well, yeah, or maybe they'd be like the sort of celebrities. Yeah.
What
And
about
the T-shirts would-
what about the Irish political leader, the Taoiseach?
Oh yeah, they're really in favour of
Right,
the
that's
Irish
good.
political leader. Yeah. So I
Right.
guess that there would be a small proportion of humanity that was still,
Sure.
leading. I guess.
Right.
But yeah, definitely. Yeah, teepees. Yeah, tea pigs, the brand of
Oh, yes.
tea bags. Oh, I mean, obviously tea bags. Obviously.
Yes. Yeah,
and
yeah.
tea.
Of course.
The world would just be full of. And that's not a bad thing. The world would be full of a lot of tea.
That'd be great. That's
That'd be
actually
great,
you're
wouldn't it?
selling it to me, really. I think
Yeah.
that could
Yeah, I
work
mean-
out really nicely. Yeah, if we all lived
Yeah.
in teepees and had to drink a lot of tea because the T-shirts demanded it,
Yeah.
it's not a
I'd
bad.
be quite up for that.
Be all right, really.
We'd be all under the Irish political, leadership. That would just be how the world was. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
sort of selling it to. I'll be honest, and this is a nice one because I think I'll be honest. Is when I read this question in my head, I just thought that if you poured a lot of tea on a T-shirt and then tried to serve tea in a tea, it would just be a mess because you couldn't say like, "Do you want a cup of tea?" And then you got to wring out the T-shirt, and then
Yeah.
the tea would go everywhere, and it wouldn't taste right. And that is in my head. I just thought, but this actually what you're describing the real world, the real situation is
Yeah.
that T-shirts want a rule, and if they did, it might be all right.
It might be all right because we don't always do a brilliant job as humans. So
No,
I
no,
think
goodness, no.
if a T-shirt wanted to, and there's lots of different types of T-shirts as well. There's like T-shirts with logos on, and then there's plain T-shirts. But yeah, a T-shirt with a logo on is, at night they're normally sort of shouting their logo. So again, you might have thought you dreamed that, but actually,
Wow.
yeah. So
Wow, so they're just like advertising all the time.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're kind of quite on. They're a bit
Yeah.
tiring. You wouldn't want to spend too much time with them. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
But I
That's-
think
I was trying to think of it. Some T-shirts have really like boring, like keep calm and carry on, and they spend their whole time doing these boring slogans. Like keep calm and carry on. That must get quite annoying.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, or like I went to London and all I bought was this T-shirt.
Yes,
that's a
yeah.
bit. Yeah, that's a bit annoying.
It is annoying. Yeah.
To be reminded of that if you've bought that T-shirt and you're in bed and you think
Yeah.
like, why am I dreaming about that? Yeah,
It's a rubbish. It's a rubbish dream. It's not.
It's
very
a
good
really
dream.
bad dream. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yes.
like I think T-shirts they have a lot of potential, but in terms of the spilling of tea and the mess, I don't want to ignore your idea though about wringing out the T-shirt because have you ever tried that? Have you ever tried like deliberately putting tea on a T-shirt and then wringing it out?
I haven't, and I did wonder if maybe there's a whole cafe idea there. Maybe people could turn up and I just serve everything either via an item of clothing that's been soaked in it, or just sort of like like a cake that's wrapped in socks.
Oh yeah.
Maybe there's a whole idea. Maybe people would really like that. Just like here's your tea wrung out of a T-shirt. Here's a cake wrapped in socks. Here's
Yeah.
a bun from some pants. I don't know how it works.
I think
Yeah.
that would be great. I think that's worth trying. Or even that makes me think as well of have you ever been to a cat cafe?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
So like
yeah.
a cafe where there's loads and loads of cats and you just look at them and pet them. And this you could do the same with T-shirts, a T-shirt cafe, and you could have
like
like little
that.
T-shirts kind of some in piles, some hanging up, and just like drink your tea and stroke them and sort of maybe flick
That's
them with
nice.
tea and then wring them out. There's so much you could do.
That's a really lovely idea, and I should say as well. I was when I first saw cat cafes, I thought cats running a cafe is a terrible idea. I really thought that it's just going to be chaos. Most of them are going to wander off before they make the food. Either that, or is it a place where people go to eat cats, which is also not very nice. I wouldn't. You get furry. They get furballs. You get furballs from it. So I had all these worries, and then when I went there, it was actually this is very nice. So I think you're right. Like a t-shirt cafe sounds very, very fun, actually.
Yeah, and in a way, it's good that we should try out all these different things before they take over. We should just make the most of the fact that at the moment we're kind of, as humans, we're kind of in charge, and we're in charge of our clothing with all its different personalities, and we should make the most of that. And then,
That's a really good idea.
Probably in the next few years, it might all change, but
maybe they'd enjoy being a cafe so much they'd sort of not want to take over the world so much.
Yeah, maybe, because I think in a way, perhaps they just don't like being ignored.
Yeah.
So if they were the centre of attention, they might really like that. Because I think we all take our t-shirts for granted a bit.
I certainly do. Do you know what? After speaking to you, Susan, I'm going to go any minute now. I'm going to go and just have a chat with my t-shirt, I think.
Yeah, me too. With the t-shirt you're wearing or a different t-shirt?
The t-shirt I'm wearing, I think, because I feel like I've now spoken about it like it isn't there, and that's quite rude. It's probably very aware of that. So, I feel like I've done. It's that all thing, like when someone's in a room and you're talking about them, but you're not talking to them.
Yeah,
it's not very. It's not nice manners,
yeah.
So, you know,
I know what you mean. Talking of manners, sorry to be distracted, but I've just seen that the balloon is over Stockport.
Right.
Which is in the north of England. It's not that far from Manchester, but it's okay. I've still got time, but yeah, if you were wondering why I was distracted for a moment,
that's fine.
Just a little alert.
You have kindly answered Etienne's questions, which thank you so much for having time to do that. And definitely, if you need to get away and save that balloon, please do. I just was going to ask. Well, firstly, I want to say thank you for being able to do that. But also, just want to check what you've got coming up in the next minutes, years, decades, seconds. What's going on?
It's a great question. Well, I'm actually, this is the first time I've announced this, so this is an exclusive, but I'm actually going to do a 2-person conga.
What?
And yeah, I know. Can you believe it? I'm so excited. And it's going to be epic. And we feel like we should double the original amount for the single conga.
Yeah, and have you got a second person in mind?
Yeah, I was thinking Judi Dench, the British actress.
Yeah, right, sure, yeah. I'm sure she'd be really up for it. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah,
because she just seems really nice, and apparently she likes a laugh. She makes people laugh on stage.
Great idea. Yeah, fantastic. It's fantastic. I didn't know if you were going to say the little girl's mum. Girl's mum, because then but I think you're right. You hang out with her enough already. Yeah. Judi Dench is an expert at the conga. It's one of the things people do know about her. It seems like a very sensible idea.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
exactly. It's what she's known for. It's her brand, and she's really good at it. Plus, she loves trees, so we'll pass a lot of trees on the way. But yeah, and I think you're right. It is good to have a break. And in that time period, we're actually going to have a break from the homeschooling with the little girl trapped down the well.
Sure, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So, because otherwise, it would be if I was like, how to open my mouth, like. For loads of congering, it would be so tiring.
It would be really awful, and flies would go in. You'd get all sorts of other issues. Yeah, it'd be terrible.
And it would be hard to do the,
Yeah.
With your mouth open.
Yeah. You've clearly got this. So I wish you all the best with it, and I'm excited to see how many days or even years you conga for as a result. And look, go get that balloon, and hopefully we'll get you back on when someone hasn't lost a not very good blue balloon from a corner shop.
But yeah, amazing. Thank you so much.
Henry and his wife don't often eat cake.
Thanks so much to Susan Harrison for having time to answer Etienne's question, even while trying to catch all those balloons. I do really appreciate it, Susan. And Etienne, I hope you liked your answer, and if not, then maybe write any complaints you have onto a helium balloon on one of Susan's days off, and then I'll never have to read it. Do you have a question that needs answering? If so, and you'd like more of these podcasts to happen, then please get your toilet pirates, grown-ups, to help me. Email it to me at podcast@comedyclubforkids.co.uk. I need your questions as soon as possible, please. Also, if your grown-ups fancy supporting this show, they can sign you up to our advert and Linda-free Linda edition through the button on Apple Podcasts, via Patreon on the Spotify, or the confusing link on Acast+. And of course, you can find out where our live shows are at comedyclubforkids.co.uk or check out our t-shirts and book, which you can find at comedyclubforkids.store. What are you still doing here?
Aha! I thought you asked for me again. You said, which you can find at comedyclubforkids.store.
No, I have no idea why you're here. Go join Cactus Linda and Bob Not a Tortoise, please. I don't have time for this. I've only just got back from holiday.
Oh!
Shoo! Right, okay, I need to unpack and water the farting animals, air out the hippos, and hang the emus up to dry. So all that leaves this week is the outro, or outgrowth, as they've said, from Anonymous and John, who is 72, pooping multiverses years old, which is a lot. I think that means he's the age you would be if you had to poop in many different dimensions at the same time, which would be really exhausting. So I reckon that's about 4,278 at the least. Anyway, here's the outgrowth that they sent. This is for an outgrowth idea. Well, greasy lemons, that was the sandwich of the year, and squirrels eat your pants. I hope you have a inky stinky day. Bye, you stinky hippos. Bye.
You have been listening to
Comedy Club for Kids presents.
Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense,
Radio Nonsense.
Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense. It's the end.